Hello, everyone. It's the People's Realtor, Realty Ryan, and I'm here with Mr.
Romano, the Realtor.
Yes, sir. And we're here at our beautiful new podcast, the PrefeQ Perspective, here to talk about the role of a realtor in real estate.
Right.
So, Romano, you had a pretty exciting weekend. I think you were out of town. What's going on? What's new?
Nothing new, but a lot of fatigue, yo. And I swear, I can't hear nothing out my left ear.
That airplane ride, huh?
You get that,
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta people be like, blow through your ear.
No, we never do that.
But, don't know.
Chew some gum. That's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't recommend pressuring you up like that. A lot of times it'll actually stop you up even worse. You might have it in one and you'll mess around and have it in both, doing some craziness like that.
Oh.
But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
That explains why I was in pain.
So how was the trip?
The trip was good. Once I got past the flight, with everything going on right now,
Right.
it was real. It was real, like, But it was honestly, from the beginning, it was a surprise. So I didn't even know I was going to Miami. I thought I was going to New York.
That's awesome.
So when I found out, I was like, let's go spring break time and all, I mean, granted, glad my birthday is near spring break, right?
Right. Right.
But like we to move on, we got there. It was pretty lit. We Ubered because we don't have a car down there.
Okay.
Hit up our hotel in South Beach, the Riviera. Hopefully I said that right. No, right. So we went to our hotel. It was fun. It was nice. Very vintage, classic feeling. I mean, at least for Florida. I'm not from Florida. From Miami, I thought it was a nice hotel. Placed well, had like some nice nightlife around it. A couple breakfast spots. And it's like right on the strip of like, you're talking about restaurants, hotels, resorts. And then it's not that far away from the beach either, because granted, I'm like on an island almost.
Right.
So it was great. Like first day we just walked and then we biked too. His city bike is all over. We biked. It was a nice vibe. Everything. Honestly, I'll see if I could I'm gonna clip some of that and put it in here because I think it was real nice. I took some good stuff. I used my same camera, right. So it was some good stuff. Like I had some high quality footage of my trip there, and I feel like if you're gonna go visit anywhere in the U.S., if you're not from the U.S., Miami's a good one. Stay away from the Florida guys. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. It's just there's a classification of Florida man that you see on the news. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ignore those. You see anything popping off, you hear any loud yelling, any cars or airplanes getting close to the ground, just ignore that. Because that's a Florida man coming for you, right?
That's crazy. It's like the abominable snowman, but a different type of snow.
No, but all the ridiculousness aside, great vacation. I chartered a private boat, so me and my girlfriend and my other friends, and her friend and my friend, we just hopped on that boat. We got our party on. We were vibing. We didn't have no large crowd. It was just us. Boat tour.
Awesome.
We saw Ross's house.
Wow.
We saw, J-Lo's house. Very touristy shit, but it's fun.
So you went by what, Star Island or something like that?
I don't know where that island is. I don't know what that is. I don't know, but that might be it.
Okay.
It might be it. It might be Star Island.
Mama wasn't listening to the tour guide, y'all.
I was not listening to the tour guide. He was just telling me especially when he said, that's Diddy's house. I was like,
keep going. Don't stop. At that point, I would have put my top on my drink.
He was like, that's the house Diddy got raided in.
Oh,
I was like, hey,
that's crazy.
Can we pull up?
Straight up. I'm checking for baby
I need
oil.
some baby oil, yo. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
Being ashy is a crime.
And it's punishable.
It's punishable.
Or it should be.
Right? It should be.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think that was a great start. Then we did an Everglades tour, You got to see some alligators, some gators.
Very nice.
Flew around. The people we went with were actually awesome. I don't know their name, but I'll put it in the description. You feel free to support them. I think everyone who does tours in the Everglades is from the native tribe that originates from the area.
Oh, wow.
So support them all. If they're not from the area and they're doing tours, don't support them. But hey, look, I don't know everybody. Maybe there's cool peoples in the tribe like them. Do whatever you do your research on. but the people from that area are going to be your best guys.
Always great to support the indigenous as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big business people always trying to cut through, little business and chop down, take over areas. So, if you have the option, why not support the indigenous people? Let them be the ones to take you into the area that they're from. What better guide could you have? So shout out to them.
Exactly. Right. And I that was great. And then we wrapped up the trip with some partying, kept it lit, kept it high energy. And that's what Miami is, the spring break capital of the U.S. I wouldn't say the world. Even even though, like they really don't want that much action no more because the spring breakers don't know how to chill out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Keep causing property damage. I think my trip there was great. So, enough about my rants on my Miami trip. For anyone who hasn't gone, go. What about you, Brian?
I mean, my weekend was definitely not so eventful as that. I've been working with a couple clients, showing some places, trying to, lock these properties down for the people that I work with. Yeah. And that's what actually, brought us here today to do one of our podcasts to talk about the role of a realtor in real estate, because it's a role I think that gets kind of downplayed a little bit.
Yeah.
And what we do, a lot of times we're not getting paid for it. It's not a definite that you get paid. You got to close that deal.
Exactly.
So there might be a lot of running around, a lot of planning, a lot of offers being written. And that's our job. We wear many hats. At some points we're not appraisers, but we do work very similar to appraisers in that we run comps. We don't go into the properties and look over everything, put a number on it, but we compare properties that have closed within, say, the last 90, 180 days within the area that share similar features to figure out what a person should offer when trying to sell, trying to buy their house. And also on the other side, when you're trying to sell your house, we do something very similar to kind of help you come up with a realistic number to put on your property to make it something that's attractive to buyers, but also puts what you want in your pocket.
Right. And to agree, right, I'll say that people conflate real estate with purely salesmanship. Everybody thinks that we're in the same class as a car salesman. Yeah, granted, we're salespeople, but we are advisors and consultants far more than we are just focused on the sale, purely because of what Ryan just said. We have to play a role similar to a lot of the people that we will recommend you to, or that you even might have on hand. You'll still find big, wealthy people walking around talking to realtors still, right? They're not just, I got an attorney, so my house will be closed on in no time. They still got a realtor in their back pocket. Why? Because that realtor is a jack of all trades. You know what I mean? They are, especially if you're specialized and you work in any kind of area that deals with high return investment or secure investments, they are someone who are specialized in being able to navigate between an attorney and appraiser, or closing here, closing there. They're the ones that, especially if you got a realtor that holds licenses in many states, will be flying out to go help you scout your locations and do whatever work you want to do. Because even if you're a mogul sitting in your office running your billion-dollar company, right, you're not a real estate mogul though, right? You made your money off selling cereal. You're not a realtor, right? So you go and you speak to a realtor with experience, right? No matter how you want to navigate real estate after that, you know that you go to an expert, and realtors are the expert in our field. We're not just the people selling them, because again, for sale by owners wouldn't exist, right? If we were somehow monopolizing the market.
Although a lot of times those for sale by owners do still have a transactional agent behind it,
right.
We still have to assist those people who don't want to pay us the full commission of selling our houses, but we'll actually charge them a flat rate to get all their paperwork done, to put their property on the MLS if they choose to do that or whatever, but also helping them get through the contract portion. We may recommend a lawyer, something like that. So even when a person is not using a realtor, they're generally still using a realtor. So, we definitely play some important roles. Inspector. One thing our broker, Fabian Weir, always says is we're not just unlocking doors. So when we walk into a property, it's our job to take a good look at what we're seeing and make sure that, we don't see water damage in basements, that, we're checking for up-to-date things that might come up in a permits or first-time home buyer FHA appraisals, electrical systems, water heater, furnace. Even though we're not inspectors, we need to walk into that property and be able to give our client a good understanding of what this is and where it might be before they go and pay an inspector $500, $600, $700 to come tell them, oh, this is jacked up. I've had the issue where I've had a couple of inspections with my clients and they went really bad and we had to back up out of the deal. I take personal responsibility if there's anything in that inspection that I could have seen and didn't. So I had an issue where 2 of my clients within about a 2-week period had issues with their inspections to the point we had to back out. I actually blessed them on their next inspection and credited them $200 because I felt bad, like they had wasted their money for the initial inspection. Now that's not something every agent does, and that's not something I expect every agent to do. But once again, if I find out that maybe there's something there that I could have seen to tell them that this is a no-go and I missed that opportunity, then I take personal responsibility for that. We are the bridge between the people who we serve and the people they need to help them get where they're going. So a lot of times communication between the lenders, the lawyers, all of that, we're doing that. We need to make sure that once we lock in a contract and we're moving forward with it, and we do our appraisal, all that the other people are doing their part, because you have lenders and lawyers working at the same time. Maybe someone missed something. It's our job to make sure, hey, is that title search in? To keep the process flowing, because in real estate, it's not just about the money. Sometimes it's a time, and a lot of times it's a time sensitive thing. A lot of sellers want to close this deal as soon as possible. So by us facilitating and keeping that bridge upheld and communication right, we're able to assist them in that.
And I mean, we're really going off right now, but to talk about time is not everything is, in real estate is a rush. Some stuff needs to be done fast. Other stuff can be done slowly, right? Sometimes you have a lot of time. For example, you're selling a house and you plan to buy a house. You might actually be on the slower side than the quick side. You might need some things to fall into place exactly on time, and that might be a swiftness, but time management is a great thing that realtors exhibit. And their dedication and their time is purely dedicated to you and your interest in that transaction. That's why we have a fiduciary duty to the people that we represent.
Exactly.
And it might be a lot tougher, right, to find a attorney who's then going to give you dedicated time unless you know them like that. An inspector, an appraiser, and you could list any professional involved. They aren't as invested in getting you where you want to go as the realtor is, because, that's just the nature of their field.
Right. A lot of them are actually getting paid regardless of if this deal closes or not. Inspector, he's getting paid. Appraiser, he's getting paid. The lender and the lawyer are the only ones that are kind of on our side, where they're trying to make sure this transaction closes, because none of us get compensated in the meantime. Now, yes, we have a fiduciary right to our clients, but a lot of times our clients are not paying us. Commissions are being paid by the selling party, which is why I want to stress that when we're working with you, please be conscious of our time and how you deal with us. We're taking the time out to do a multitude of things, to do showings, to schedule showings, to, communicate sometimes between agents, because there may be an issue where we can't get access and now we have to step a little deeper. The worst thing you can do is leave your agent hanging, because everything your agent does is to make sure that you're not left to dry. You know, there's many times I've been showing houses on my birthday, you know, certain special times, my mom's birthday, all type of different stuff. I don't, you know, make a lot of personal time oversee my business. I try to handle business and then work personal around it.
Right.
But as our clients, when a person is constantly, you know, trying to reschedule or can't be decisive about what they want, we can only do so much to make you understand what might be beneficial and help you, you know, see what properties based off showings we've already done might not be the one for you because it doesn't really match your criteria.
Right.
But if you're just all over the place with it, that makes it very difficult for us to do our job.
Exactly. Yeah, and I have to agree. I mean, I feel like I can count, well, the times that I have to dedicate outside of a normal work hour. Then, you know, someone does 9 to 5, you go home at 5, right? You go to work 10 to 6 a.m. or whatever, right? You're doing third shift. You go home at the end of your third shift.
Right.
A realtor doesn't really stop working. And I found that out real quick when I started because, granted, we had what do I say? We had a partner at the time that was, I believe, our loan officer, and she was a high energy partner. Let's just say, like, if things need to be done at, let's say, almost 1 a.m., like, I was going to get an email that, yo, we need this from your client, and I was going to be awake. And I was going to be getting that ready for my client, or I was going to reach out to them and just let them know, like, look, it's daylights. We need this so your transaction can be smooth as butter because we got everything else lined up and we just need to knock it down. You know what I mean? So
1,000.
There's that expectation that you're dedicating far more time outside of a normal work time period as a realtor because you don't stop working, you don't stop running, right? And not to hype up the profession of real estate and then you as an audience member, right, go out and you talk to a realtor of some sort and they do you straight dirty and then you're gonna obviously have something that you feel off from that. That's understandable. It's just like anything else though, right?
Right.
You go and you get an attorney and the attorney is just like, yo, that guy is half in the court, half out the court. Homeboy shows up with his shirt out his pants and everything you would look at for appearance to matter, right? You're just like, yo, you're failing all the marks. Your work is not complete. Nothing is in order, blah, blah, blah. Yo, if you have a bad experience with a professional, you're not going to go around then saying, yo, attorneys can't do their jobs.
Right.
We pay them to push paper. We pay them to talk to a judge. No one goes around saying it like they would to a realtor, right?
And even if they do, you're not going to stop using them because of it. Because in certain situations, you need them. Like attorneys have some of the worst reputations other than general salesmen, car salesmen, and stuff like that at being, you know, I don't even want to say because I work with a lot of attorneys, so I don't want to shoot anybody in the foot.
We love you guys, right?
But the point of what we're saying is that we're people first. You know, anyone can, and I don't want to downplay the course because it is very challenging. But if you're good at taking tests, technically you can go out there and get your realtor's license. The problem with that is the process of actually being a realtor in comparison to the process of taking a test to become a realtor are two totally different things. When you're taking the test, you're learning a lot more about law, real estate law, and just the do's and don'ts of real estate. But it's not telling you how to go out there and do a successful showing with someone, how to, you know, really help someone fine tune their preferences and figure out what's for them. There's a lot of stuff that, like, if you can pass a test, you can become an agent, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a good agent because you passed that test. It takes compassion for your client. It takes knowledge and understanding. We work with a lot of computer systems. Even our lock boxes, some of them are electronic, so you're using Bluetooth and an app on the phone to get access to a property. These things aren't gone over in the book. They don't teach you a good way of how to go about this. And as Romano stated earlier, people of all levels of wealth use real estate agents. Us simply learning the process and understanding, because sometimes we are kind of working as a lawyer, filling out contracts and whatnot, that the lawyer will later on review and get you to your closing. But we need to understand what we're doing, what we're writing, how we can make that offer the best for you to try to close that deal. So in that, you know, we wear many hats. as I said earlier.
Right.
And it's just important that you pick someone you can trust, someone who's about it. We're not telling you that every realtor is an amazing agent, as every policeman is not a great policeman. Maybe every doctor is not a great doctor anywhere you go.
Right.
You know, people are doing what they have to do to support themselves and their family. It doesn't mean that they're doing with a A1 presence of take care of this person to the best of their ability. But here at PrefeQ Realty, that's our number one concern.
Exactly. So, I mean, not to, you know, we went a little crazy there. We went a little crazy, right? So, I feel like we got to cool it down. You know, we got to relax. We got to chill out. And I just feel like in relaxing, I want to give an advice to someone, right? Or advice to someone's, you know, everybody watching.
Right.
As a realtor, right? What is the first thing you think that you should tell, or at least you think that a client should improve in their house when they get it?
Like, say it again, that they should improve.
Right. So like, we imagine you got a client, right? You just close with them, and then they have a house, no major issues. Came up on the inspection, it's relatively clean. What is the first thing you would suggest though?
It's actually a great question. If nothing came up in the inspection, and everything else is tidied up, I mean, for me, it's make it your own.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
make it your own, and just be mindful, because in a new property, anything can happen.
Right.
Even with you using inspectors and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I had a client recently, you know, we closed on a house. He moved into it early January. Last week when we had all the heavy rain, his basement actually started not flooding, but taking in water, possibly groundwater. Randomly, and it's a finished basement. You know, he has someone living down there, so there's a big no-no. So just being mindful of what's going on in your home, because now I'm trying to help my client assess the situation and go about it. So yeah, just knowing what you have and what you can do with it. You know.
Right.
What about you?
Me? I feel like if I close with a client, I generally advise them, well, especially if they have carpet, to replace said carpet.
Definitely, that's
right.
a great one.
You can get that clean, but like, come on, replace the carpet. Yo, you don't know what that carpet has seen, what that carpet has been through.
Right.
Just swap it out. It's not anything crazy. Carpet generally, it depends on if you have like fancy carpet. That's expensive. But
well, it also depends on what's underneath.
Right.
Because sometimes, you know, obviously carpets can carry a lot of germs, dust, dirt, stuff like that. So he's 1,000% right. You know, when I moved into my house, it was fully carpeted. We eventually snatched it all out. And we had pretty decent wood flooring. But then we got all of it freshly, what do you call it?
You polished?
Sand, polished, the whole works. We did everything with it,
nice.
you know, and got it. And then my dogs tore it all up.
Oh.
Right over again. So it looks like crap right now. But yeah, if you are able to grab something at the edge of the room and bring up some of the carpet and see that you have good wood floors. I've seen it in my house. I've seen it in friends' house where it's like, why did people put carpet over this? So that's a great one.
Yeah, no, especially. And I definitely agree with what you said. You know, making somewhere your home is important. And a part of that process is knowing how to defend yourself when something goes wrong.
Right? Get the gap.
Not even just the gap. I'm talking about credit, right? So if you got any credit issues and you've ever been in any situation where your identity was stolen, we're not experts. We can't fix that for you. But we do have a seminar, April 18th. We're working on the time, probably about 6:30 to probably like 7:30, roughly. Please stay tuned for the exact details. We'd love for as many people to show up or show out. We're going to definitely work on that Zoom option, so anyone from anywhere can tune in, bring your questions, your opinions, whatever you're thinking, and we'd always appreciate it. We'd love to see you there. Right, Ryan?
Definitely. We'd love to see you all there. And we want you there, even if we can't see you. So you're sitting back in front of that screen, that's just as good. Please participate. Ask any questions you have, because that's something that's really important in any sales type thing, you want to make sure that, well, we want to make sure as agents that you trust us.
Right.
And you know that we have your best interests in mind. That's why, as Romano used the term earlier, fiduciary rights. You're not going to hear that in a lot of industries. But what that means is that we have to put our clients first. We have to move with their interests in mind. We have to make sure that no one is taking advantage, that we are not taking advantage. They are the client. We are their representative. Their best interest is our number one goal.
Right. And part of that effort, especially that our brokerage has focused on so far, is making our clients well-rounded in the space of fraud. Because that's an important thing. It's a big thing. It's affected every single person of almost every age group.
Definitely.
If you're 2 years old and you got scammed, I don't know how you managed that, Bucko. All right, but
you'd be surprised.
Yeah, right. Everybody with eyeballs got phones now, right? So at this point, we are mindful, and a part of that mindfulness is our educational, content that we're trying to push out, the seminars we host. So please, like I said earlier, pop out, show out, do whatever you got to do. Like this video, comment, share our feedback, say, oh, you guys, thanks for talking about that, but I won't be showing up. That's still appreciated, right? We'd love to see that. We'd love to see whatever you got to say. So, stay tuned for our next episode. Should come out very soon, as usual, right on time. It's been great. See you around, all right?
Thank you all.
Deuces, dude.
Hey!
I know tricks.